When we record videos here at NetWise Live, we often try to keep them very tight, clean, and basically scripted so that we can go through a mentor minute or a first look in a very quick and rapid fashion to allow our viewers to obtain the most amount of information possible in the shortest amount of time. However, this is going to be a unique bit of fun. We're going to do an unboxing here. This is going to be a totally unscripted, unedited view of a new Livescribe Sky Wi-Fi Smartpen by the Livescribe company. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the box first and then open her up. So what we have here is a 4 GB Sky Wi-Fi Smartpen. These Smartpens are designed to integrate with Evernote only. In fact, you do not have the ability to use this particular Smartpen with any other service. It's directly tied into Evernote. So if you're a heavy Evernote junkie, this is definitely something you should look at if you are interested in having a Smartpen. And of course, if you match all of the Smartpen user characteristics, that might make you a good candidate for a Smartpen user. Those, of course, are listed in the previous Mentor Minute video when we went through all of the Livescribe Smartpen offerings. So we see here what we have on the box, just a listing of the features on this side, as well as a kind of a quick tidbit of information about some of the advantages for Smartpens on the back. Basically recording everything you write in here at the same time, slapping it directly into Evernote, using Wi-Fi only so you don't have to deal with the hassle of a computer, and of course being able to access it anywhere since it's through Evernote. Listing of what's inside the box on this side. So let's go ahead and open her up and see what we have. Slide it out of the box. The first thing we notice is that the pen is here on the left-hand side. It's actually very similar to the Echo that we most recently took a look at in a Mentor Minute. As you can tell, it's basically the same type of device, although, of course, the name is different. There's a quick start guide right here listing how to, step 1, step 2, just get it running. You will, however, you need to use your computer's browser to activate this Smartpen, so we'll go through that in a little bit. This is the older Echo that we just did Mentor Minute on. As you can see, it's basically the same body design, so let's go ahead and pop it out so we can do a little bit of a comparison. I'm gonna undo the twist tie down here at the bottom. Get that off. And then pull this little pen out, take a look at it. This pen, just like the Echo, comes with a cap that can fit over the top of the nib end of the pen, which allows you to preserve the pen from hard knocks and so forth, and also to keep it from writing on things while it's sitting inside your bag. Looking at the pen, see if it has any battery charge left in it. Oh no, it looks like we're going to have to charge this guy up before we proceed any further. Well, right here we see again it's the same body style, the only difference being that the Sky Wi-Fi name is on the back, the Livescribe name is on the front of the new Sky Wi-Fi, and the Echo name is on the front of the older one. Of course, there is a slight difference to the coloring at the bottom, with the coloring of the newer Sky, even though it's a similar feeling material, is made of a metallic shimmery gray color as opposed to a matte black. So let's go ahead and see what else is in the box. Of course, we have another nub there. We have the micro USB cable, which is necessary to charge this guy. There is an extra insert, pen ink insert for the pen. Let's go ahead and show that to you here, right there. So that's handy. There's a set of what they call the basics, which talks about how we can start and stop recording, jump to different sections of the recording, and what our keystrokes, our pen strokes, will look like when they have been captured. This is, as you can see, available in multiple different languages, so that's good. And we have some stickers here. Oh, this is good. Everybody loves stickers. So we see how we can set up the Wi-Fi network on here, which is good. So that helps us. We tap each of these different options to lead through the Wi-Fi setup, including the password for the Wi-Fi, turning on Wi-Fi, and so forth. Evidently, the idea here is that we can leave these stickers inside of the notebook or inside of the notebook holder. For example, the portfolio case that you can put a Livescribe pen in. Leave it inside the portfolio holder and just use these as the means to turn on, turn off Wi-Fi, force synchronization, do a software update, and more. You can also do sharing over Wi-Fi to more, it looks like, than just Evernote. I'll bet you what this is it is doing synchronization, forwarding, if you will, of the link of the note from Evernote to either, in this case, email, Google Drive, Facebook, and Dropbox. So you'll get a link that's emailed to that address if you click on that to share. So I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's see here, the starter notebook. Take a look at it right there. There's the starter notebook, so that's nice. I give that to you so you can get started. So there's some additional stickers as well, so you actually have 2 sets of stickers. That's nice. So now let's go through the process of getting this thing activated and turned on. I will be activating this on my computer according to the quick setup guide here. So please note that I will be pausing the view on this camera so that you can see a screen recording of the actual setup process. So let's go ahead and do this setup. So now we're going to go ahead and get started with the activation of our new Livescribe pen. This is the Sky Wi-Fi. So we go ahead and type in our email address here. And then we type in the password that we would like to choose. Choose our country and our occupation. And we don't need to receive any emails, so let's create our Livescribe account. Account created successfully. Now it's going to ask us to link to Evernote. So we need to make sure that our Evernote account is set up and that we can log into it before we proceed to the next step. So now that we have set up and made sure that our Evernote account is ready, we're going to go ahead and link our new Livescribe account for the Sky Wi-Fi to Evernote. It says authorize. Would you like to authorize for 3 years? Yes, in this case we're going to go ahead and allow this. Click on authorize. And now it's asking to enter the specific code for this Wi-Fi Smartpen. So let's go ahead and enter that code to activate the pen. This is our NetWise Life Test Sky Pen. Click on Activate. Now it goes ahead and sets up the next stage in the process, which is to register the Livescribe Wi-Fi Smartpen on a Wi-Fi network. So let's go ahead and find our stickers and then set up our Smartpen on a Wi-Fi network. So we will go ahead and do that now. One thing you may also notice is that there is a Livescribe helper application that is available. This is a convenient little tool that allows our computer to serve as an intermediary between the Livescribe pen and the Evernote world. This way, if we cannot connect to a Wi-Fi network, we're still able to use the pen. So we're going to go ahead and download that, just in case we need that here in the future. Then we go ahead and click Next. And it now shows us the basics of the Sky Pen. So now I'm going to set up the Livescribe Helper application. After installing and setting up the Livescribe Helper, it's now told us that there is an update for this particular Smartpen, so we're going to go ahead and install that firmware update. It's always good to do that to keep your pen in tip-top shape. Make sure that there are no issues with it going forward, anything that still needs to be corrected if there's any problems, and so forth. It reminds us, now that the firmware files have been downloaded, that we really don't want to disconnect this little guy for fear that he might get messed up. So we're going to let that proceed without doing any changes to the system. Okay, sorry about that. I know I said I wasn't going to be editing anything, but I'm pretty sure you didn't want to sit through about 5 minutes worth of firmware updates. So let's go ahead and finish this off. This gives us the opportunity to see what the helper can do. We can synchronize notes and audio to Evernote through the helper, as well as archiving notebooks off the Smartpen in case we're running out of space. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we do that. We're going to just take a quick little note here. On the starter notebook. Let's zoom in on that so you can see it. We're going to take a quick little note with this. Pull the pin cap off, of course. One thing you'll find is that these pin caps are very tight. Obviously for a reason, to make sure that it doesn't fall off when it's sitting in your bag. However, it can put quite a bit of stress on the unit itself. So be careful when you pull that off of either the Echo or the Sky. So, this is still connected. In most cases, we wouldn't leave it connected like this. However, we're just going to go ahead and do a little test. So let's leave it connected for the moment. Makes it easier to then click on sync now. Let's see here, we're typing in, writing, and we're going to do a record at the same time. This is a NetWise life test note. If this had been an actual note, you would have seen a lot more text. Okay, so we wrote all that down and we did a little recording. Stop the recording there. You'll notice that there's about 44 seconds that we just recorded. Tap on it to listen to what we wrote. This is a NetWise life fuel note. You would. Okay, so we wrote all that down. There we go. We finished that. Let's stop the playback. Now let's zoom in back onto the computer and do a synchronization with our Evernote account and see what happens. Well, don't worry, we'll do another one when we have the Wi-Fi set up. So let's zoom in on that and see what we can see. Click on Synchronize Now. Connects to Livescribe, does a transfer, transfers the audio section, and it is now done. The synchronization has been complete. You can now disconnect your Smartpen. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We don't need it plugged in at the moment. Set that aside, put the notepad aside, and go ahead and go into the Evernote area. Check on Evernote web here. Let's do a little refresh. There we go. Looks like we've got a Wi-Fi starter notebook that's been synchronized. We can see right here what is listed, and if we click on the text, it'll take us to the player where we can actually see the full text of what we had written and then listen to it if we so desire. This is a NetWise. There we go. We can see that that worked quite well. And of course, if we check the app itself, we go to our notes on this app, synchronize. We can see that it appeared in the Macintosh Mac OS X app, and of course it pulls it back up in the web view to run the player. However, we can also see it inside of the app, and we can play the recording as well. It's stored as an M4A file, and one of the AAC recording formats that Apple uses a lot. So now we have set all that up. We've set up synchronization. The last thing we need to do here is set up the Wi-Fi access for this particular pen. So let's go ahead and type in our Wi-Fi password and information. So to do that, let's use the Wi-Fi setup in the notebook. Let's zoom in on that so that you guys can see it. So what we do first is we need to tap on Scan for Networks. It will now scan for the different networks that are available. We then need to choose the network that we are going to synchronize with. So let's go ahead and scroll down until we find our NetWise Life Test Network. In our environment, as it is the case in many offices, there are approximately 15 Wi-Fi networks that are currently active. Okay, after significant work, including tapping on Scan for Networks a number of times, and also scrolling down each time, turning on and off my access point, I was able to get the pen to recognize the presence of the Wi-Fi network that we're using. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and click on Select Network. Now it asks us to enter our Wi-Fi password. And I hope you don't mind, but I'd prefer not to show that. We've now entered our Wi-Fi password, and it's going to be acquiring an IP address at the moment. Let's go and see if we can focus. There we go. And now it's connected. So now that the Sky Wi-Fi pin is connected to our Wi-Fi network, we should be able to have the capability to automatically synchronize any notes that we take with the Evernote system. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's go write something down again. So I clicked on record, and now we're going to start writing again. Let's zoom out a bit so you can see a bit more of the page. This is another section of note that we are taking. Let's see if this synchronizes with Evernote. Okay, we finished that. Let's stop the recording and then see what we can see. The pen is now syncing, shows that it's uploading the data to Evernote. It's all automatic. Let's wait for that process to complete. And there we go, done synchronizing. So now let's go back to the computer and take a look to see if our note and our audio has synchronized with Evernote. Going to Evernote Web, let's go ahead and refresh the page here. Click on All Notes, or actually just First Notebook maybe. There we go. We have the updated screen here. This is another section of notes that are we've taken here. Let's see if it synchronizes. All that data is in there. So now let's go ahead and click on that. This is another section. Good, and that worked. And of course, if we look at the app itself, we should see now that we have an updated page. And here we go. Here's our updated page. Of course, if we click on it, that takes us directly back into Evernote. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for taking a look at this unboxing and view of the Livescribe Sky Wi-Fi Smartpen. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you had a little bit of fun with this unscripted and 99% unedited view that we hardly ever do at NetWise Life, but we hope you enjoyed it. Thanks much. Have a great day.